major airports across the country and even across the world. But specifically, as far as T3 in Delhi is concerned, not enough counters. As I said, revenge travel, people want to travel. The first holiday season, post everything opening up, the numbers are just too much for the airport to try and contain. Smaller space, and that is why we're seeing a lot of passengers indulging in fights as well. Limited security staff. This, of course, is an issue that has been addressed by the aviation minister, where they are now getting more personnel at the airport. Increasing travellers, as I said, revenge travel. The biggest concern has been, how do we understand that there is urgency for the passengers to ensure that they do not miss their flights? I was at the T3 terminal earlier in the day, and this is how things look like. Well, we are at the T3 terminal as far as Delhi's IGI airport is concerned, to give you a ground check of what really is happening and why have passengers been complaining of snarls and congestion. Over the last 1 week, we've seen a lot of passengers complain about snarls, long queues, which have resulted in fights as well within passengers. Now, the reason that authorities are saying is because of revenge travel. You know, people are traveling for the holiday season. For example, on the 11th of December, you had 4,27,000 passengers leaving as far as this airport is concerned. So authorities are just scrambling to try and contain the footfall. But because of criticism that has been coming in from passengers, the centre has stepped in and issued an advisory as well. So look at the kind of boards that you're seeing around me. What authorities are now saying that they're going to divide as far as this entire process is concerned for entry, security as well as immigration. For entry, we're seeing a lot of marshals on the ground try and telling people which are the gates which are empty, which are available. Then of course boards like these where authorities are asking you to keep your documents already ready. So keep your boarding pass and keep your ID ready, so that by the time you reach the officials who are checking these documents, you wouldn't have to waste time even inside, because you had a visit by the aviation minister. You're seeing counters that have been increased, gates that have been increased as well. So even though a lot of measures are being taken by authorities on the ground, that congestion still continues. Now we have one passenger who went through hell yesterday, who has been kind enough to take our time, even as he is on his way to catch another flight now. Pawan, we appreciate you taking out the time and joining us here on CNN News 18. You traveled through T3 yesterday. आप हमें बताइए क्या हुआ, कितनी inconvenience हुई, आपको कितना time लगा और क्या-क्या problems थी?
So I was coming from Ghaziabad. I was having a flight to catch at 7 a.m. in morning, Air India for Bombay. But due to lot of rush in that peak hour and in the airport as well as before the airport, if I say about the traffic, जो airport से पहले था वहाँ भी काफी rush था. Then queue में लोग queue jump कर रहे थे. उसके बाद भी कई लोग अपनी flight miss कर गए. मैं मान सकता हूँ मैं 6 मिनट लेट था अंदर आने के लिए, लेकिन मैं बाद भी जिनकी फ्लाइट थी वो सिक्योरिटी चेक इन से वापस आ गए. उनको ये बोला गया कि अगर आप सिक्योरिटी चेक इन क्रॉस भी कर लेंगे तब भी आप फ्लाइट तक नहीं पहुंच पाएंगे. बेटर आप वापसी जाके अपना लगेज ले लीजिए एंड आप बोर्ड नहीं कर सकते फ्लाइट. एंड अगर मैं वेब चेक इन भी करता हूँ तब भी मेरे को लगेज ड्रॉप करना पड़ेगा. वहां भी कम से कम 15, 20, 25 लोग खड़े थे हर काउंटर में. So totally मतलब मिसमैनेजमेंट मेरे को दिखा. मैं काफी बार ट्रैवल करता हूँ फ्लाइट से, बट कल जैसा मैंने कभी नहीं देखा.
जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं कि हर लेवल पे मिसमैनेजमेंट था, तो मैं ये समझना चाहती हूँ कि किस तरह की हेल्प मिल रही थी पैसेंजर्स को. जो एयरलाइन के ऑफिशियल्स थे, क्या उन्होंने कोई सहायता दी?
अगर मैं स्पेशली एयर इंडिया की बात करूँ, दिक्कत तो दूर के समझने की बात, दे वर वेरी रूड टू अस. नॉट मतलब मेरे लिए नहीं थे बट सबके लिए वो ऐसी बात कर रहे थे दैट वी डोंट गिव अ डैम कि आप कहाँ से हो, क्या हो, क्यों लेट हो. अगर ये एयरपोर्ट की भी दिक्कत है, सिक्योरिटी की दिक्कत है, तो हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है. तो एयर इंडिया की तरफ से एटलीस्ट कोई हेल्प नहीं मिल रही थी. बाकी मैं प्राइवेट एयरलाइंस का देख रहा था, मेरी एक दो कस्टमर पैसेंजर से बात भी हुई थी. दे वर सेइंग कि हाँ हमें कुछ बात हुई है, शायद वो रीशेड्यूल कर रहे हैं हमारी फ्लाइट, ये सब. बट एयर इंडिया ने तो बिल्कुल ही मतलब कोई हेल्प नहीं करी. एंड बिसाइड दिस उनका बिहेवियर काफी रूड था.
Right, Pawan, I know you have another flight to catch, so I appreciate you taking out the time and joining us here on CNN News 18. So a lot of passengers are saying that the airlines also refuse to help them. Many of them have ended up missing up their flights also. So they're saying, why should we compensate? Why shouldn't the airline not compensate us? As I said, I was at the T3 terminal earlier in the day. I spoke to a few other passengers on how they had prepped themselves to brace the holiday rush. Let's listen in. I have another passenger with me. She's traveling to New Zealand, coming from Ludhiana. Let's understand how she's prepared herself. Are you scared when you read all these reports about congestion? What do you know so far, and how have you prepared yourself?
Oh, it's crazy. I came like a couple of hours before because I don't want to get stuck. And you can see it's insane.
Yeah. What is the advisory that has been given by the airline to you? And is this the first time that you're experiencing such congestion at T3?
I think every time I came here, it's like that. Every time. And I have no formal warning from my airline.
No formal warning from the airline. Okay. So you said you face this issue every single time. What is the issue? Where is the exact issue? Is it security, check-in counter? Where is the exact issue?
I'll say kind of everything. Like there's no rule and regulation. People are going everywhere and anywhere. I think that's the main issue, and it's just too many people.
Are your holiday plans getting ruined looking at the rush?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, not ruined really, but like there's been so much stress about making a flight, which is such a basic thing, right? Like I've had so much advice, go in like 6 hours earlier for like a 2-hour flight. So yeah, I mean, it's been like, and actually we can see it now. You know, we thought it was just like a overblown, sort of exaggerated, but it seems like it's really bad, and at this hour.
Yeah. So what is the kind of advisory that has been given by the airline to you? How have you prepared yourself to tackle the rush?
I think we just thought we'll go in like 4 hours early, which is what we've come in, not really anything else. I mean, I'm not aware of it. I mean, we did a last minute plan yesterday in any case, so yeah.
So where do you think the issues are? Is it the security issue? Is it the check-in counters? How do we tackle this congestion?
I honestly think, I mean, the demand is far outstripping the infrastructure. I think that is the issue. I mean, I know how to tackle is obviously like they probably stagger it out, stop some flights or like delayed sort of. Those could be various solutions, but honestly, the way I see it, I think that just too many people traveling and the infrastructure is not set up for it.
Many passengers there sharing their challenges with us. We're also opening our call-in lines. The question is simple. What's really ailing our airports? What can be done? Numbers flashing on your screen: 0120-434-1895. I'll repeat the number: 0120-434-1895. We'd love to hear from you. At this point, let me bring in our experts and our guests as well to try and understand where are things going wrong and what are the solutions going forward. I have two aviation experts with me, Ajay Avatne, and we also have Captain Amit Singh. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Ajay, I'd like to begin the conversation with you. Where are things going wrong? As I said when I started the show, this is not just a Delhi-specific problem and not even an India problem. But why are we seeing the kind of congestion and the pictures that we're seeing this time around?
The first thing is that we're not seeing these pictures for the first time this year. We've seen these pictures back in the day, and this is only going to get worse in the coming days. Sorry to be the prophet of doom here, but things are only going to get worse before they're going to get better. There are multiple reasons for this. One is obviously, when you talk of an airport is a space to, take people in, put them through security checks, and put them out on planes. It's not a place that is kind of there to hold people inside. So obviously, when these kind of situations occur, too many people are held up inside the airport, and that is a problem. One of the key things I would imagine all Indian airports need to do, not just Delhi right now, is to focus on streamlining the flow of people. You can't compromise on security, but you also need to make sure that people move quickly through the various stages of the airport experience. Second, I think while it's easier said than done, airlines are adding to the problem by sending out all these SMSs saying come 3 hours prior, 4 hours prior. I can understand it is a peak travel time, but when more people arrive at the airport early, unfortunately, it gets crowded for everyone. So those are two of the key problems on the domestic side. I think it's a limited physical space, and I think the second thing is obviously too many people who are not frequent flyers, basically, end up traveling at this time of the year. So
Yeah.
they're not quick enough in the sense of knowing the processes, knowing how things work, and they take a little more time than the guys who do this maybe once a week or maybe every day. So, they kind of create a little bit more of a challenge in that situation. On the international side, however, there's one more problem.
True.
That's the immigration bit on the arrival, on the arrival side. At the end of the day, we've not moved towards digital
Yeah.
processing of arriving passengers, and hence every passenger needs to be stamped
Yeah.
into the country, be it a domestic passenger, an Indian citizen coming back or somebody else. So that kind of creates problems because people
Sure.
have to wait up to 90 minutes or 2 hours sometimes just to clear immigration.
But again, we
So
come
yeah,
back
this
to
is a
the
global
larger
problem.
question, which is that yes, it's a global problem, but if we were talking about revival in business, then shouldn't we have already been prepared for a situation like this? Captain Amit, I'll come to you in just a bit. I want to bring in some callers as well. We have Karan calling us from Mumbai. We have Abhi also calling us from Mumbai. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Karan, let me come to you first. What do you think is the issue? Also, have you also faced something similar?
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I travel to Delhi almost twice a month from Bombay, and over the last 3 odd months, progressively it's gotten worse. According to me, I think the single biggest reason for this problem is the automatic tray retrieval system at D3. Because if you have seen now, even if you want to keep a small wallet or a belt, you have to take one big tray. These are very ungainly trays. Senior citizens can barely lift them up. So people will go take the tray first, then they'll be standing in the line and they'll start shoving their tray in. The old system and the smaller airports still have the smaller tray for like a single pair of shoes or a wallet, etc. So it makes it much easier for material to move through the belts. In fact, even your bags, you could keep them straight on the conveyor system rather than put them in the tray. So I don't think this is a system which is ideal for busy airports like the ones you have at T3, Bombay, so on and so forth. So I have seen a huge change in the kind of chaos you see at the security line ever since this ATRS system has come into play. Maybe manual and smaller trays was more efficient.
Sure. Karan, we appreciate you calling us here in CNN News 18. Abhi, let me bring you in as well. What is the issue? Why are we seeing such pictures?
Hello.
Abhi, can you hear us?
Hello.
We can hear you, Abhi. Go ahead.
Since let's say 2 days back, I was traveling from Delhi to Mumbai. I've seen a lot of uses for people running on the airport. They're not aware. Actually, the people have to aware of the things, how the things are managed. Even the policemen, they are not doing their work properly.
So you're saying there's mismanagement at every level. I want to take in another caller calling us from Kolkata. We have Srinivas also calling us. Srinivas, go ahead. What do you think is the issue?
Yeah, good evening. In the airport, normally whenever I fly, I see the flow of people is always slow. I think that's one area we have to focus. At check-in counters, at security gates, people have to flow. The faster you flow, the better it is to manage the crowd. So we have lesser number of security counters, and each security counter we have one or two people. Everything is so slow. We have to focus on increasing the counters, increasing the number of people there, and making things faster. Probably that is a solution I look at.
Okay. Srinivas, we appreciate you calling us here on CNN News 18. I want to continue the conversation with our experts now. Captain Amit, I want to come to you. And this is what one caller was also pointing out. And this is something that we all face when we travel. Why is it that our protocols and our procedures are so different, especially as far as X-ray and our security check is concerned? We don't have to take out everything or empty our bags when we travel to other parts of the world. Why is that specifically in Delhi, we have such a stringent protocol for almost emptying our bags, which is what actually causes the lag as far as the security check is concerned?
Well, that is what we need smart airports, like we have smart cities, and processes need to be more efficient. Now, worldwide, what technology is being used is the CT machines, which is a 3D machine, wherein the security person can virtually unpack your bag digitally.
Yeah.
So you don't need to take out any electronics, any liquid. You just have to put your bag in and walk through. So that is the most efficient process. And passenger service fee is being charged to every passenger, 200 rupees per passenger. I think 65% goes for security. So why hasn't the X-ray machines been upgraded? That is a question. And while we are standing in the queue, people need to be educated that if required, what all needs to be segregated. Because every airport, you go to Delhi, Hyderabad, Bombay, they'll have different protocols. Some will say all electronics out, some will say all metallic out, some will say the laptop without the sleeves. So the passenger is confused. The passenger is forever asking, do I need to take off my belt? Do I need to take off the pen? So if it is a fixed protocol, and while waiting in the queue, there has to be some sort of a digital or a video playing of what all needs to be done, what all need to be done, kind of an education process, so that when the person reaches the X-ray machine or picks up the tray, they already know what needs to be done and they're more efficient.
Yeah.
So that education part is not being done, and we're not being smart about it. We're not using technology, and the processes are not efficient at all. And we are replicating a lot of processes. Like when we check in or enter the airport, our boarding card is verified. So there is no need to verify further on. But at every step, that boarding card is verified, and a lot of questions are being asked. For example, if I check in, like I traveled through Delhi last month, and I had a web check-in. I reached the airport, I picked up a self-tag for my check-in luggage. Now, after tagging my luggage, I need to go to the bag drop-off area and simply drop off my bag. That happens worldwide. But here I have to get in the queue again, wherein we have people who are mixed, who do not have tag and who have tag. So the whole process is being repeated. I said, what is the point of doing all this?
You know,
when
this
the system is not so
education
efficient?
that you're
Then
talking
you have to
about
go and
actually
fight
is
for
very,
trains.
very important. And I'm actually seeing some of that actually being implemented when I was at T3 earlier in the day, where these signages have now come up where they're asking passengers to keep their ID cards, their boarding passes ready. So by the time you reach the security personnel, you already have everything ready, and that lag doesn't cause a queue to form. Ajay, I'll come to you in just a bit to talk about the larger issue as far as how technology can play a role, and why is Digi Yatra still not being used by a lot many people. I just want to take in a word from some other callers as well. Vikas calling us from Chennai, and we have SN Mishra calling us from Gurugram. Vikas, go ahead, talk to us. Have you also faced a lot of issues?
Yeah, Ridhima, I actually traveled to Chennai a couple of days back from Delhi. It was a chaos. Though I did notice, a tag there that said you can use Digi Yatra, and let me tell you that application does not work. I tried to, install it, then go through the entire process of getting the verification done. The verification failed for some reason, and then there is no option to, either delete that from your wallet and redo the verification. The FAQs does not work, the help system does not work, the feedback system does not work. So it's very surprising. Why would you go ahead and launch an application when you have not even tested it?
Okay. SN Mishra also continues to be with us. What do you think is the issue?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm a frequent flyer, and recently, only last week, I traveled to and fro from Delhi airport.
Okay.
I think we need more people at the security counters. I mean, as I said, the entry and the counters, airport airline counter was okay. But the people at the manning the security were too few. Half the counters were closed, and many of the gates, the automated gates, were not working. And then we have too many security checks. For example, in another airport in Guwahati, after passing through 3 security checks, before you board the flight, you again have to open up your baggage, etc. So when there are so many security checks going on, is it necessary? If you can scan the security at one counter quite well, and once you are inside the airport, why do we need multiple security checks by the airlines, by other people? So I think if that is, then I think we can move a little faster.
Okay. I think those are very important solutions that you're pointing to. I want to take in one last caller. From Faridabad, we have Sam Thomas also calling us. Sam, go ahead. What do you think is the issue?
Hi. Today morning I traveled from Kochi to Pune to Delhi. So at Pune, it was all chaos. Chaos means unimaginable. Some were asked to pull out your shoes. Some were asked to pull out your belt. and whatnot. I mean, there was also no standard kind of a thing that this you have to do. Whatever, the police constable or somebody, and now I think even private security guards are there in the airports. So that also adds to the woes, because earlier the CISF people who are there, they are very trained and they know what to do. But this new, private security guards, they keep on explaining give long explanations, which the CISF people were never used to do that. And because of that, so much of delay is there. And I just came today morning only, early morning, to Delhi from Pune. And I saw, huge chaos at Pune airport.
So not just a Delhi problem, as I said. Sam, we appreciate you calling us here on CNN News 18. And Ajay, this is what we were discussing when we started. Not just a Delhi problem, not just an India problem. But as far as the measures that have been taken by authorities and the aviation ministry, Digi Yatra is something they are promoting. But why are we still seeing such few takers? I was at the airport, barely some 8 to 10 people in that queue which has been made for Digi Yatra. Why are we not having more people take up the technology if that can help us jump these queues?
So, Ridhima, basically a couple of things. First, the Digi Yatra initiative, the formal launch has been very, very recent, so it's just been launched 2 weeks back. Second, I think it's been a half-hearted attempt, They've only created, for example, at the airport, which is of the volumes of Delhi, Terminal 3, where we see continuous rush coming through. There's only one lane, which is dedicated to Digi Yatra. So, when you really want to, for something like this to succeed, you really need to go all out. You need to create, maybe every domestic gate needs to have a Digi Yatra enabled, a biometric scan gate as well. And then security queues need to be enabled to be open with your face as well, all of them. But there's only one queue. And of course, only maybe 1% of the people really know, because the Digi Yatra promotion counter, which is right outside, I think, gate 1 or 2, is only open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So, that's a very half-hearted approach. It needs to really be scaled up multifold across the country, so that next winter's, next holiday season, hopefully, maybe even 20% of your crowds are using Digi Yatra. You'll start to see a lot less bundling up of people. And
I agree with the point that you're making, that if we are, rolling out a technology, it needs to be done at a larger scale to cater the kind of footfalls that we are seeing. Only one gate will not help us. Here's hoping that the next holiday season will be a lot easier on all of us. I'll unfortunately have to leave that conversation there, Ajay, as well as Captain Amit. Now, one aspect, of course, that the minister's also been highlighting since he's been visiting the Terminal 3 is the adoption that they want people with Digi Yatra. Is it the future of travel? But what really is Digi Yatra? Let me just break down some of those details, and more essentially, if you're traveling this holiday season, you should really know how this works. It's essentially a biometric-enabled seamless travel experience. Essentially, your face becomes your boarding pass. It's contactless processing of passengers at airports. Currently, there is one designated gate at Terminal 3 at the Delhi airport for people who've already done their authentication with the app of Digi Yatra. The biometric system is based on facial recognition technology. As I said, your face becomes your boarding pass. It's paperless. It covers security checkpoints for domestic travel, and people who in fact used Digi Yatra in the last 1 week are saying they're able to cross through security also in a matter of minutes. So entry into airports, security checks and boarding will all come under Digi Yatra. The process takes less than 3 seconds at touch points. But the biggest concern as of now is how can we scale it. Currently only available in 3 cities. Passengers' face acts as ID and your vaccine proof that you will need to provide as well. Data is then validated with airlines control system. Your data is then stored, which you can use in your future travel as well. Non-intrusive and automatic security process. The government has also reassured passengers that they're not storing their data. Delhi, Bengaluru and Hyderabad use Digi Yatra, and then it will move to the other airports as well. How does this work, and is it actually helping passengers on the ground? Let's take a look at this report. Now, as we said, if you talk about solutions, the centre has already put in an action plan. But other than that, what authorities in the centre is also asking you is to focus on what you see behind me. This is entry 2 as far as T3 is concerned. This is only for passengers who are using Digi Yatra. The idea is to let technology become your boarding pass, and that's why you see a shorter queue behind me, because not a lot of people have already started using this technology. This of course was unveiled by the authorities very, very recently. It is going to be a phased rollout which is going to happen in about 7 airports. It's currently been launched in about 3 airports. But as I said, not too many people using it currently. The idea is that you go paperless. You won't need to get a physical boarding pass. Once you download the app and you verified your details, that in fact becomes your boarding pass, and many passengers.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. I begin by saluting our brave soldiers today for once again proving their mettle and keeping our borders safe. 2 years after the brutal clash at Galwan Valley, the Indian and Chinese soldiers briefly clashed in Arunachal's Tawang on December 9 before disengaging. Troops from both sides sustained minor injuries. According to sources, 300 PLA troops provoked India but was sent back with their tails between their legs. China keeps expecting India of old, and it keeps getting hammered. India has already proved it is better prepared for any transgressions than ever before and is man for man a much better army than the PLA. But there is also a political aspect of what's come out of in public in 3 days after the incident. The Defence Minister made a statement today in both houses of the Parliament, but the opposition is less than satisfied. The opposition accuses the centre of court secrecy and of avoiding a proper debate on a serious issue like this. The forces have done their job. Can politicians too come together on such an issue and keep politics aside? I will take that to our guests in just a bit. But first up, here are the top 5 highlights of the Defence Minister's statement today. First and foremost, the Defence Minister did acknowledge that the PLA tried to transgress the LAC and unilaterally change the status quo, something they've tried to do in Galwan earlier. The Indian Army thwarted the Chinese attempt in a firm and resolute manner. The details that are coming out are actually quite important. The scuffle led to injuries to a few personnel on both sides, but no fatalities or serious casualties on the Indian side. And he ended by saying that the forces are committed to protecting our territorial integrity, and that, of course, is never in doubt. Now look at the opposition's big 5 attacks on the government today. Mallikarjun Kharge, the new Congress party chief, said he, that is Rajnath Singh, just read a statement and went off. We wanted clarification and discussion. Shashi Tharoor, Congress MP, also went on to say that we are blaming Nehru for all